I was 38 years old, and whenever I glanced in the mirror, I felt a sense of pride. Life had treated me kindly. With regular exercise, a good skincare routine, and a healthy way of living, I managed to maintain a youthful and attractive appearance. Although Nathan often complimented my beauty, his busy work schedule meant he wasn't home much, so there were times I forgot he even said those sweet things. That morning, Nathan had left early for work, leaving the house in a peaceful silence. I cherished these quiet moments because they gave me a chance to focus on myself. I decided to take a nice shower, knowing the warm water and a bit of self-care would help me unwind. I walked into the bathroom, applied a face mask, and stepped into the shower. As the warm water cascaded over me, I tried to clear my mind and just enjoy the moment. After my shower, I slipped into my favorite red lingerie. The color always made me feel powerful and confident. While I was drying my hair with a towel, I caught my reflection in the bathroom mirror and wiped off the face mask. A thought flashed in my mind. Nathan would miss seeing me like this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more real-life stories. Make sure to watch this video until the end, as it's going to get really interesting. In that moment, I completely blanked on the fact that Nathan's son, Ethan, was back home after going through some tough times. With Nathan and me usually enjoying our time alone, I had nearly forgotten Ethan was around. Suddenly, the sound of a door opening jolted me out of my thoughts. It was Ethan. I almost screamed. He stood at the door, avoiding eye contact, clearly caught off guard. Clara, I'm so sorry. I thought the door was closed. I was just about to get in the shower, he stammered, his voice shaky and embarrassed. As our eyes met, a rush of awkwardness filled the air. My instinct was to grab the towel, but I realized it was too late. I saw Ethan's face turn bright red, and I felt a strange thrill ripple through me. I tried to sound calm as I said, Ethan, haven't you ever heard of knocking? But my voice trembled with a mix of embarrassment and an unexpected thrill. Yeah, sorry, he replied quickly, shutting the door behind him. But the moment had already changed everything for me. This had to be a mistake, yet my heart raced. There was something oddly exciting about Ethan seeing me like this, even if I was embarrassed. I collected myself and walked toward the mirror again, my mind replaying how it felt when I stepped out of the shower and Ethan's surprised gaze met mine. I had never felt so exposed, and it was a strange mix of embarrassment and excitement. It was a moment I wouldn't easily forget as I admired my reflection in the red lingerie. As I stood there, examining myself in the mirror, I noticed how my body glowed with the maturity that came with age. Even at 38, I still felt youthful and attractive. Life had been good to me. It wasn't just my figure that looked great. My eyes sparkled, my hair shone, and everything about me seemed vibrant and fresh. My muscles were toned from regular workouts, and my skin was soft, smooth, and flawless. This realization filled me with confidence, but at the same time, my thoughts drifted back to Ethan's intense gaze. I couldn't help but wonder what he really thought of me. How closely did he watch me? Even though a part of me wanted to push these thoughts away, I found it hard to do so. As I admired my reflection, I felt proud of how I looked, especially in my red underwear. Suddenly, I remembered how Ethan sometimes emerged from the shower wrapped in just a towel. A mix of emotions washed over me. Ethan had always been undeniably handsome, and now as I looked at him, I felt something deeper simmering inside. What had once been a simple attraction was now stirring up more complex feelings in me. Without realizing it, I found myself holding my breath as I continued to watch him, but guilt quickly crept in. Then there was Nathan, my husband. At 47, he was a successful businessman, always busy with work and often too preoccupied to spend quality time with me. I started to question our marriage. Were we truly happy, or had I simply become accustomed to being lonely? Nathan seemed less interested in me lately. After returning from a long business trip, it felt like he barely noticed I was there. Although he made efforts to rekindle our connection, the warmth that once filled our relationship had faded. One ordinary evening at home, Nathan came back from work and we had dinner together, just another routine night. But then he casually mentioned, "We're going to a party tomorrow." At that moment, it felt like a breath of fresh air, just what I needed to escape my racing thoughts. I had envisioned a fun evening with Nathan, hoping for a chance to reconnect and create some spark together. However, Ethan's news arrived like a surprise twist. "I have a flight tomorrow evening," he said, "off to visit a friend. You two should go to the party without me." Ethan had that light-hearted, carefree attitude that made it easy for him to make spontaneous plans, while Nathan was always buried in work, seemingly indifferent to such outings. Now, the opportunity to attend the party was in my hands, and I felt a mix of excitement and uncertainty about what lay ahead. Nathan seemed distant lately, and I really wanted him to see that I cared. So, I decided to dress up a little. I put on a beautiful red dress that hugged my figure, did my makeup, and styled my hair to look my best, hoping to impress Nathan. Unfortunately, things didn't go as I had hoped. After the party, despite my efforts, Nathan told me he had to go out with his friends for a business meeting, leaving me all alone at home again. That sense of solitude hit me hard, and it felt like something inside me broke. The night I had hoped to spend with him slipped away, and when I got home, I felt lost and empty. Once upstairs, I took off my dress and stood there in just my black lace underwear. All the work I had put into my look felt pointless. Frustration built up inside me, and I knew I needed to find a way to cope with this sad night. I decided to head to the kitchen, maybe grab a drink or a cigarette to clear my mind. I poured myself a glass of alcohol and lit a cigarette, feeling the smoke scratch my throat. It was one of those moments where everything felt stuck, and then something unexpected happened. I heard footsteps and turned to see Ethan standing in the kitchen doorway. I was shocked. I didn't know when he came home or why he was there. His plans apparently changed, and now he was standing in front of me. Seeing him unexpectedly in my black lace lingerie felt strange, and I was embarrassed. I took a deep breath, trying to avoid his gaze. "I'm sorry, Ethan," I said, my voice shaking a little. "I didn't know you were back. I didn't think it would be this weird to see you here." I looked down, unsure of how to express what I was feeling. Ethan stepped closer, without showing surprise, and something in his expression changed as he paused for a moment. He then slowly asked me a question. "Why are you crying, Clara? What's wrong?" His voice had a different tone this time. It sounded genuine, almost as if he truly cared. When he looked at me, it felt like his eyes could see right into my heart. As he stepped closer, he smiled, a smile that touched more than just his lips. It reached his eyes, too. I felt a storm of emotions inside me. In that moment, it was clear that he was affecting me not just physically, but emotionally as well. My feelings were a jumble, but there was something new within me that I had never experienced before. Ethan's gaze was so sincere that instead of feeling scared by how it was affecting me, I found myself moving toward him. His words only added to the confusion swirling inside my mind. I glanced up at him, noticing the true concern on his face. His intense gaze made me feel like we were connected on a deeper level, not just physically, but emotionally as well. For a brief moment, I realized just how broken I felt. The disappointment of not living up to the perfect evening I had imagined overwhelmed me, and before I knew it, tears began to stream down my cheeks. As Ethan came nearer, he gently said, "Clara, you have no idea how beautiful you are." His words brought a sense of relief, but also left me a bit shocked. I had seen how Nathan, with his busy work schedule, hadn't been able to give me the attention I needed. "But you're really special, and you deserve to have a night like this," he continued. His reassurance provided me with some comfort, but my feelings remained tangled and confusing. Even being so close to Ethan couldn't help me sort through the intensity of my emotions. His eyes were so captivating that I felt myself getting lost in their depth. In that moment, time seemed to come to a standstill as I hesitantly stepped closer to him. I noticed his surprise as I bridged the distance between us. The mix of emotions I felt was overwhelming, torn between my inner conflict and a strong urge to kiss him. In a burst of spontaneity, I leaned in and pressed my lips against his, not even giving myself a chance to think it through. As soon as our lips met, it felt like time had paused. I could feel the warmth of his lips against mine, the rapid pounding of my heart, and the tension in his body. All of it made me forget everything else. I sensed that Ethan was anticipating my response, feeling his heat on my lips. Slowly, as his hand found its way to my waist, the gap between us closed completely. In an instant, the tangled emotions within me transformed into an overwhelming desire. As I listened to Ethan's breathing, I instinctively moved closer to him. We quickly transitioned from the kitchen to the living room, our lips never separating. With each step, our bodies brushed against the walls, and we held onto each other even tighter. Ethan's hands roamed over my body as we approached the living room door, and somehow we ended up sitting next to each other on the couch, both breathless. I noticed Ethan had left his pants behind in the kitchen, and my black lace underwear lay forgotten on the floor. It felt like such an unusual moment, but I had completely surrendered to the feelings taking over me. When I opened my eyes and looked at him, we were both catching our breath. Ethan, seeing how quickly things had escalated, read the expression on my face and gave a faint smile. His eyes still reflected the effect I had on him. Taking a deep breath, he asked softly, "Clara, what just happened? Why did we do this?" Surprised yet relieved, I followed his gaze, unsure of how to respond. I finally managed to say, "It just happened in the heat of the moment. I didn't know how else to express everything I was feeling. I didn't want to spend the night any other way." Ethan nodded, running his fingers through my hair. "Is it really wrong for us to be this close?" he asked. His hands rested on my waist, and with each gentle touch, I felt a deeper connection forming. My breath quickened as he looked into my eyes. He took another deep breath and leaned in closer. "Clara, I've been through a tough time recently, but right now I feel completely different," he shared. The sincerity in his voice surprised me, bringing a sense of calm. Ethan moved even closer, and I found myself lost in the depth of his gaze. I feel so close to you. These feelings surprise me, but I can sense you, Clara. I can feel you near, he said. I felt a swirl of emotions inside me, my heart racing. Everything felt confusing, but at that moment, I recognized the intimate connection we were building. I looked back into his eyes and admitted, I was alone, Ethan. I truly was, but now everything feels different. For the first time, I feel young, excited, and a little lost. I can sense that something is changing, my voice trembling as I struggled to express my feelings. Just then, the door swung open and a voice echoed, Clara, Nathan. He walked in, and his eyes widened in shock at the sight of us. In that moment, it felt like time stood still. Ethan and I stood there, staring into each other's eyes, completely frozen. We didn't know how to react. Nathan was trying to make sense of the situation, his face a mix of shock and anger. His eyes were wide, and he held his breath for a moment. And that's when everything fell apart. What is going on here? He shouted, his voice rough and filled with fury. The intensity of his anger seemed to shake the very walls around us. Disappointment flooded Nathan's eyes as he repeated himself, but his tone had shifted from seeking answers to expressing raw bitterness. He swung around to face Ethan, his hands trembling as he pointed at him. Get out of here! You don't belong in this house anymore, he yelled, his voice cracking with emotion. She's my wife. She's your mother. Why would you drag her into this mess? What were you thinking? I stood there speechless, overwhelmed by the chaos unfolding before me. My eyes filled with tears, but I couldn't bring myself to cry. Nathan's blame felt like a heavy weight on my chest, making me wonder what I could possibly say in response. Why, Clara? Why did you do this? Nathan continued, his voice filled with anguish. What did I ever do to you? How can anyone be okay with losing both their husband and their son like this? You looked me in the eye and lied. Inside, I felt shattered, but no words came out. My eyes were brimming with tears, and even with all the sorrow, I found myself unable to answer him. I realized that no matter how much I wanted to explain, it wouldn't change anything. In an explosion of emotion, Nathan yelled, "Just leave. There's no place for you here anymore." He forced us toward the door. As Ethan and I locked eyes, a silent understanding passed between us. We both felt so confused and hurt. After a moment, Ethan calmly said, "Let's go." I nodded in agreement, grateful to leave the turmoil behind. As we stepped outside, the tears streamed down my face. The guilt I felt was overwhelming, making it hard to breathe. My mind was racing, and I was uncertain of what to do or where to turn. Everything had spiraled out of control so quickly, and now I found myself lost in the aftermath. Being with Ethan and thinking about how much I had hurt him weighed heavily on me. I whispered to myself, hiding my face in my hands as I continued to cry. What have I done to Nathan? How did I betray him? With every step I took away from that house, the regret deepened. I knew I was in a dark place with no clear way out, but somehow I hoped the pain would lessen as time went on. Ethan walked away, but even his departure gave me a flicker of hope, even if it was just for a brief moment. Go ahead, do it. Everything's going to change for me now, I murmured as I watched him leave. I took a step forward, realizing that being on my own, even in the midst of darkness, could eventually lead me to find the light again. For just a moment, I inhaled deeply and discovered an inner strength I didn't know I had. I would find a way to overcome this. I was determined to rediscover who I truly am. My life would begin anew. If you've made it this far in the story, I can tell you're invested. There's so much more to uncover, and you won't want to miss anything. Make sure to hit that follow button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so let's connect in the comments.